Hello and welcome to this edition of the Scrimshaw Show, gold medal preview for the men's hockey. My name is Scrimshaw. I've got Liam MacKinnon on. We'll be recording hopefully Monday to talk about the results of the gold medal game and what it all means. But had to have him on quickly to talk through the game that will be. Liam MacKinnon, how are you, man?
Not too bad, Evan. Haven't felt nerves like this in a long time. Well, probably since the World Series. Canada USA for Olympic gold tomorrow. Like the jitters have to be fully activated for pretty much everyone in Canada at this point. Like, this obviously isn't just a hockey game; it's going to be a massive cultural event. And this is the game we've been waiting for. It's just how we drew it up. So buckle up.
Yeah, I don't think the road that we've taken is the road that we were necessarily wanting. Didn't necessarily need both the Czechia and Finland games to be as competitive as they were. I think the biggest takeaway from those two games, which we haven't talked about on the pod, the Crosby injury, I think, has to be where we start with this. He's apparently a game time decision. I think there's a reticence to play him. The thing about best on best hockey is you have substantially better depth than you do in an NHL situation. So 80% or 70% Crosby is like not actually more effective than whoever your 13th forward is. Whereas in the NHL, that is a drop off that's worth it. I still think he's going to end up playing. I don't know if that's crazy. I don't know if that's the right decision. And it might be a more limited role, but I think Crosby's in. One, do you agree with me? And two, what do you think that decision, like, if he's out, what did you make of the changes that Cooper made to the lines? And what do you think about the general sort of like, who do you elevate higher up and who do you let play more of the role that they've played at the NHL level in that Crosby spot to drive offense for a Canadian team that, has produced lots of chances in the last few games, but it has taken us a little while to actually get the goals in the net.
So I do think he plays. I think the combination of tolerance to pain, treatment, probably very enhanced treatment, and rest means that there's a higher than 50% chance that he does play tomorrow. And the fact that he's the captain and he's Sidney Crosby, of course. But I think it was Ryan Rishaug or Mark Masters said that Canada currently assesses his chances of playing at 70%, which was a fun way to describe it. But I think Cooper's been adjusting, I think, quite frequently. One of the staples in this lineup has been the duo of Celebrini and McDavid, which seems inseparable going into tomorrow. And I think we'll talk about how we should line up against a very deep U.S. team. But I didn't mind the Lions last game. We just didn't really see much of how the lines that Cooper drew up initially performed, right? We saw him revert to that top heavy line almost immediately. And we just truly felt the impact of Crosby's absence. This team, when faced with adversity, unfortunately in this tournament, has not been able to contribute at the clip we expect from those lines 2 through 4. Evan, we've seen that first line be just beautiful to watch and manhandle the opposition. But we've seen a lot of struggles down this lineup, unfortunately, with the depth. And that's something that Cooper is contending with right now, with or without Crosby. Of course, Crosby being in helps. But I don't know that you can expect him to play a lot more than 10 minutes tomorrow, maybe some special teams or something, right? So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I think the depth has been really challenged, which has been, a little bit underwhelming. I thought the forwards on Team Canada certainly were not going to be a problem.
Yeah, and I think this is I, with the Americans, the depth scoring looks pretty bad because they took a team that's designed to win the Stanley Cup. But like these are really good offensive players. Nick Suzuki finally scored, against Finland. But like, your Suzuki, Hagel, like those guys are like legit offensive stars. They're not like, yes, they can be good sort of down the line of players, but they also can score. And the fact that we aren't getting the depth scoring is concerning. Um, I do watching celebrating. I am sort of constantly left wondering what Connor Bedard would be doing at this tournament, but I'm not gonna die on that horse. Um, I don't think MacKinnon can play with unless we need a goal in the basically more than halfway through the game. I don't think so. I don't think MacKinnon can play with Celebrity and McDavid. Like we need to attempt to get multiple lines rolling, and if we just start getting into desperation mode and just chucking MacKinnon up with that top line, like it's just not an effective way of rolling. Um, I also think John Cooper needs to stop with this. Like, oh, we're gonna play. We have enough offense with the top line, especially when we throw MacKinnon out there with them. We can roll out a worse defense core or defense pair, right? We can't be running out. Pareko. Was it Pareko Sandheim who was out
Franklin
there for?
Harley.
Oh yeah, no, it was. We just can't be throwing that out for an offensive zone start like with with MacKinnon, McDavid, Celebrity. Like we can't. It's. I get the point. I get you're trying to shelter them with decent matchups, but you just can't do it. And like John Cooper, buddy, like we get it. Just play Cale Makar 30 minutes. And I think that's what's going to happen. We have the day off on Saturday as we're recording this. Like I think that's going to be to our advantage. We just got. I'm far more worried about the defense usage than I am the forwards, because I do trust that the forward depth is good enough as long as we aren't running MacKinnon with that top pair or with that top duo of Celebrity and McDavid. We have enough actually solid attacking offensive depth, but we need to be running Makar, Taves 30 minutes. Like we need to play them half of the game in regulation tomorrow if we're going to do anything in this. If we're going to win.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's the plan, right? I think Makar and Taves are one of the better pairings in the world. That goes without saying. The issue, of course, is how the two other pairs perform in the other half of the game, and hopefully they can hold the fort. But we're going to need a huge performance from Makar and Taves supporting that first line and creating that mismatch that we can most exploit against the United States. Evan, I want to call out a few players. I've been underwhelmed by players I had, I'd say my share of doubts about heading into this tournament. These are two players that I've always thought of as really, really good players who play on, even better teams who are overly reliant on the systems in which they play. And those players are Brandon Hagel and Sam Reinhart. Now, Reinhardt hasn't been given the same kind of opportunity, so I'll be less severe on him. But those are two players that, obviously in the NHL, they put up 40 goals, 90 points, whatever it is. And when speaking about the depth on this team, when raising that as a concern, that's because we just haven't gotten the production that you would usually expect from players like that. Like they have a chance to prove people like me who say things like this about them when they get selected to an all-star roster. They have a chance to prove that they belong with that roster, and I just haven't seen that yet. So I'm very eager to see how they perform tomorrow in the most important game. I was a little bit, just reverting back to the defense here. I was a little bit underwhelmed by some of the lower pairing defensemen as well, but I think that they've played, you know, a better game. We'll just call it that way over the last 2 games, namely Sanheim, Theodore. They obviously teamed up on that game tying goal against Finland. So yeah, but my overall point here, Evan, the depth has been challenged, and I hope that it shows up tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I these guys are talented. Like, this isn't like truly a roster construction problem. I think it's just we need guys who have shown the ability in big games to prove it. And like, hockey is a very random sport. The Olympics are an extremely random tournament in a lot of ways. I know it's been a relatively chalky tournament, but like, in terms of outcomes, it's been relatively chalky. But like, it's, it's relative, it's single elimination. Like, it's a sport where variance is incredibly high game to game. Like, I get it, and we need to get out to a lead. The problem is we have gone into intermission. We've gone into the first intermission the last 2 games losing. It's felt like we needed to chase, and it's allowed teams to sit back, make us break them down. It's a different kind of game. I think if we can get that first goal, like, I am worried about the American defense in terms of if they can get a lead, us breaking them down, because they roll 3 pairs that are extremely good. And I am slightly worried that they're just going to absolutely, utterly swallow whistles tomorrow, and basically anything. Like, it'll be a free for all. And if that happens, I am a little worried.
Yeah, I am worried. I've thought about that exact scenario too. Like, remember the Sweden game? The US played a perfect airtight game. And they just didn't, like, they gave up 20 shots or 22 shots, whatever it was, to Sweden. So if we get caught in that type of game with the States, I agree with you. I don't like our chances, because then that means it's a low scoring game, and you need to get probably 3 past Connor Hellebuck. I don't like our chances. I think this game needs to open up a little bit. So this is where it gets really interesting. What do you think John Cooper and company are planning for tomorrow? Do you think they're planning for this low event game? And how are they reactive to that, or are they going to employ a proactive strategy to annul the effects of this star-studded American defense and elite goalie?
I think they are going to tell the guys to blitz out of the gate. Like, I think they are going to want to put the pressure on them right away. Because the thing about the Americans is they have defensemen who like to be active with the puck. And look, again, their third pair is Sanderson Ornsky. It is a decor that is very comfortable moving the puck and doing it well. However, these guys are ambitious. These guys want to make big plays. And like, it's a decor that is at its, that if you put some pressure on them and can get that early goal, I think that's the easiest way to do this. I think they are going to look at the Americans are a team that is far more comfortable playing from ahead than behind. That is what the Americans clearly want. They want low event hockey, and I think John Cooper and co are not stupid enough to give us another one of those games. Like, the Four Nations final was a similar low event hockey, turned into a goaltending duel. And I don't think anybody wants a repeat of that. I don't think anybody stylistically wants to let that happen, because, we probably should have lost that game. If Binnington doesn't stand on his head in overtime, we lose that game. And like, I absolutely think there will be an impetus to blow the game wide open as quickly as possible.
And that reinforces, Evan, this concern that we have, right? Canada's had slow starts. This can't happen tomorrow. Like, you could probably lose the game in the first period. So we just need to startle them. We need to scare the crap out of this American team somehow. And I think everyone agrees that we're sticking with the ultimate chaos line of Marshawn, Bennett, and Wilson, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was effective, and I think, I mean, the Americans have the one reason I'm optimistic that the Americans will still take penalties is they have a lot of guys who are going to want who they're who run hot, and I think if we can line them up, if we can get them on the ice at the right times, like I think there's real opportunities to make that happen. And frankly, I think at the end of the day, our power play's been good. I know the American penalty kill has been like,
Perfect. It's been
yeah,
100% efficiency. Yeah.
but like they've played a relatively weak
Yeah.
set of offenses. Um, I trust. The real problem is Nathan MacKinnon's hurt. Like he's very clearly playing injured, and there's a reason why we haven't really like talked about him very much. In that he's playing well and he's doing what he can, but he's not Nathan MacKinnon. I'd feel a lot better about this team if Nate Mack was 100%, but like I think Crosby's going to play, and I think at the end of the day, I trust our game breakers, which is what we need. We need game breakers. We need people who can make big moments, and like it's not shouldn't be that shocking to remember that it was Connor McDavid who scored the golden goal at the Four Nations. It was Sidney Crosby who scored the golden goal in Vancouver 2010. Like we do have a group of guys who, yes, McDavid doesn't have a cup, but we have a group of guys who step up when the moment is brightest. And you can't exactly say that about the American captain. No, full offense. Fuck Austin Matthews. Like I'm just it's notable. It's worth noting that like I know it's Captain Clutch and we are very analytics based people, and trust me, I will go back to quoting XG and Corsi and all the advanced stats when we re-up the sentence portion of this podcast. But like there is a part of me that thinks that Canada just knows how to win.
And this is the thing. If you put players from both rosters into a fantasy draft list, the first three names that come out, the first three picks are in no particular order: MacKinnon, McDavid, and Makar. Like we still own the generational talent portion of this game, and at the end of the day, I do believe in our game breakers, and that's why I think the market believes in Canada's game breakers. We're still, I think, as of right now, the favorites to win the game. But just to the point that you just made, Evan, MacKinnon's playing at 60%, 65%. He's ill, he's injured, he's battling something. He just hasn't been himself. And the way you can tell is the speed with which he's making decisions on the ice. He thinks the game at a McDavid type pace. Like this is a guy who, when he's at his best, and we've seen it all season, is right up there with Connor McDavid. And he's probably on his way to another Hart Trophy if he can stay healthy. At the end of the day, you need MacKinnon to be as close to 100%, certainly more than what we've seen so far, because you need him to drive a line. You need to start with McDavid and MacKinnon on separate lines, and hopefully be able to drive offense with something else than just that first line. And so one of the things I'm watching for is who does Cooper play? I think Cooper agrees that this is the right play, but who does he put on MacKinnon's wings? And Evan, who's a bottom six player who's clearly more talented than the rest of the bottom six players who we might be able to consider elevating on MacKinnon's wing?
I mean, I think I want Marner there.
There you go. I'm on the same
because
page.
I think you can, because Marner is so defensively reliable and so he has played functional center or center like responsibility on the Leafs power penalty kill for so many years. Like he's so defensively reliable. I'm okay with Nate Mack cheating a little bit for offense because of how good Marner is, and I'm sure. And both of those guys, like, look, I hate Mitch Marner. I can't believe I'm saying so many nice things about him. Marner's hockey IQ is incredible, and he will be able to their hockey IQs will be able to make up for it and they'll be able to figure it out. And I think if Nate Mack can give some of that defensive responsibility to Marner, he'll be able to be more effective in the offensive end, which is where we need him in this game.
And it helps so much with the transition too. Like one of the challenges I've seen from the MacKinnon line so far is they just haven't been able to attack. You know how the Colorado Avalanche just attack their opponents in these huge waves of speed and just force. And I just I haven't felt that impact from the MacKinnon line yet. And I know that he's obviously hampered by something, but one of the things that he would benefit is someone who will facilitate that transition from the defensive zone into the neutral zone into the offensive zone, and obviously keep the play moving too. I've seen too many plays die in the corner with Brandon Hagel. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how Cooper threads that needle of creating enough offense, but also distributing it down the lineup when you've got an American team that lines 1 through 4 can throw out elite talent. So that's one of the things I'm watching for.
What do we do? Do we think the Americans have a wrinkle they haven't shown yet that they can throw at us? Do you think there's anything that we haven't seen that they're going to be able to show us? I don't think there is. I think we know what the Americans want to do at this point. I think we know that they want low event, boring hockey. But do you think there's anything line combo, strategic choice? It seems like it's just going to come down to whether or not Hellebuck is regular season Hellebuck or playoff Hellebuck in a lot of ways. Is there anything else you're particularly watching for on the American side?
No, I think having watched most of their games, they've rolled out consistent lines. They've had the Kachucks with Eichel. The Matthews line has been pretty good. Tage Thompson's starting to, heat up here. It's just a mismatch of a team. You can't really create those favorable matchups. There's no one line to shut down I mean, if we're probably going to call the Kachuk line and the Eichel line the most dominant offensively. But then you can't get distracted by the Austin Matthews line, and you can't get distracted by even Brock Nelson. I mean, he's been phenomenal this tournament. So no, I mean, this is a star-studded team that I think probably should have scored more against far weaker opponents. But the more I watch this American team, the more I think it's deliberate. They will just not let you penetrate their end, and they will capitalize on their chances when they are in the offensive zone, and they will win the special teams battle. That's their game plan.
Yeah, and the thing is, Bill Guerin built a team designed to play a style of hockey, and as much as I still think you could have taken Jason Robertson and played this style of hockey, like a single game final, again, in the same way that we can double shift or play substantially more Makar Taves, they can run the Matthews line, and they can run the double Kachuk line. They can play them far more in this game, and you should see the same consequence of a lot of offense. Limited. Sort of, they're not going to have to play JT Miller very often. They're not going to have to play some of the lesser offensive talents unless they think that they want to, which is to say, unless they have a lead. So it really comes down to us not giving them a lead.
I also missed one other player. I think the US's X factor in terms of their forwards has been Jack Hughes so far. So I do want to mention him, and I have HockeyStats.com's data here. So in terms of slot shots contributions, we've seen Eichel, Tage Thompson, Jack Hughes, and Brady Tkachuk dominate on this American lineup. So I think those are 4 players that have been able to, while America hasn't scored an awful lot against weaker teams, they've had players who've been difference makers, and I think those are some of the players we have to watch for.
What's the panic, concern, excitement level for Jordan Bennington? How are we feeling about his last two performances?
Well, Evan, we had this conversation on the last episode. I was I was a little bit underwhelmed by Jordan Bennington. He continues to make me nervous. I don't think there was necessarily a weak goal that he let in, but to me, like there's being aggressive and then there's being Jordan Bennington, right? Like he just challenges. It seems like sometimes he's 2 feet above the crease, challenging the shooter. And to the naked eye, it seems like he's losing a part of his net. I just see a goalie that's swimming all the time. And he's got that aura and confidence, as we discussed on the last episode. So it kind of makes you feel like he's in charge. But again, Evan, like if there's gonna be a Bennington softie tomorrow, I mean, the whole country won't be very happy campers when you've got a better goalie sitting on the bench.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think I just made my peace with the fact that we were going to be doing the Bennington thing this tournament earlier than you did, so I am just like stressed about it less. I think you're entirely correct, and I think if we built, hockey teams and we did this stuff in a more rational way, then I would agree. But if rationalness was how we did sports would probably be less fun. It's fun to be irrational. It's fun to trust the guy who just won us the Four Nations. It's good. Jordan Bennington, you will cement yourself as a national hero tomorrow. Final predictions, final thoughts. I am going 4-2 Canada.
I think the game will go to overtime again.
Oh, God.
We've had very, very close games. I think the Czechia game was too close for comfort, and the Finland game was too. But I'm going to go with a Mark Stone heroic overtime goal. And is it 3-on-3, Evan?
No, it's 5-on-5 for the gold medal.
Are we sure about that? Because I thought hopefully
yes,
that would
but
be
it's
great. That would be asinine.
Yes, but it's not like sudden. It's not full sudden death. Like it's not basically play till you score. It is, I think, like it might be a full period, but I think it's 10 minutes and then shootout. But yeah, it's not 3-on-3 at least. Thank God.
Okay.
The one thing they got right about the Four Nations is the overtime is just like play till it's done. No, I think we're going to score. I think McDavid and Celebrini are going to. I think that combo is going to pop. I think we're going to get that early lead, and I think the Americans, other than the Sweden game, and even against Sweden, they were only down 1-0, right? Like, I think we're going to put the Americans on their back heels, and we're going to make them play a more expansive, attacking style of hockey. And I don't know that they're going to be prepared for what that does. I think they are so drilled in one system that I don't know that they're ready to play the style of hockey that's going to matter and that's going to win them that's going to win them a game when they're playing the highest level competition. And I think we're going to get them.
I've got bad news for you, Evan. It is 3-on-3.
I swear to God, I have seen it's not.
Well, I've got the NBC article here, but yeah, I mean, just the fact that they've had 3-on-3 for overtime at all in elimination games is such a shame for hockey of this magnitude, Evan.
Jesus, it is 3-on-3, but it's a 20-minute segment. Jesus Christ. What the hell? How is it 3-on-3 is insane.
It's such a shame. Like we can feel the magnitude of this game in our chest. And we're going to have a skills competition potentially, breaking the tie here in a gold medal game. So yeah, I deplore that, and the same way I deplored that 3-on-3 American goal in the women's hockey gold medal game as well.
Completely insane. I, damn it, I can't believe it. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. Well, let's pray to God it doesn't get to overtime then.
Go
Let's
Canada, go Evan.
Go Canada, go. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Okay.
Liam MacKinnon. Follow him, Liam G MacKinnon on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Scrimshaw. Scrimshaw Unscripted at substack.com. You know all the things. Like and subscribe to this video. Go Canada, go, baby.